Hello again. What a weekend of football we have coming up in the Premier League. It could be the defining weekend, of course. Charlie Nicholas is with me to look ahead. And that's where we start, of course, at Anfield. Charlie, Liverpool against Manchester City. From a Manchester City perspective, first of all, is this must not lose or is it must win?
No, I think it's must not lose because they've been behind 7 points last season when they, in fact, got 10 at one stage, but they had the game in hand. So they proved that they can come back with character, and the question marks will still sit above Liverpool. But the thing is, at the moment, Liverpool are quite not clicking into top gear, and they're still getting the job done. I mean, you heard me say and develop the Aston Villa result last week. They just kept going and they kept going, and they find a way to get there. So this for Man City, with the problems they have defensively, is all about must not lose.
And is it just must not lose for Liverpool as well?
Well, I think they'd be content probably 48 hours ago if you'd have said it's a draw, it keeps a gap. But not now. Not with the problems that Manchester City have got. You know, the one thing we always acknowledge about Klopp, he won't wait for it. He likes to go and attack it. He likes to take it on. We know Pep likes to do the same, but he's got different choices. He's limited, whereas Liverpool are not limited. It's full blast, all, you know, rock and roll football, as Jurgen used to like to call it, and that's why I'm expecting this weekend. I'm expecting Liverpool to beat Manchester City and cement that 9-point gap.
You see, I mean, we might have been at this stage comparing the qualities of Alisson and Ederson, but now it's Alisson and Claudio Bravo. And I mean, Bravo, 3 Premier League starts in 3 seasons. Tends to tell you just what Pep thinks of him, doesn't it?
Well, it tells you everything about it. You know, we know how good Ederson has become because his passing ability, his calmness. But this is a guy who doesn't get much game time. That means he'll make rash decisions and goalkeeping more than shop stopping all the time, because we know they're all good at that now. They practice every hour of every day on those reaction saves. But decision making is the key. That's the key to it all. And decision making when you're rusty becomes a problem. Coming for a cross, because you know Liverpool are going to whip these crosses, are going to come in from both full backs. They're going to be peppering shots on his goal, all about where does he parry it, can he get the distance out there, and of course for crosses with Van Dijk and going after set pieces. So real problem.
And it's not their only problem, because obviously defensively they've got issues with No Laporte and Vincent Kompany having left the club, and he doesn't seem to trust John Stones and Nicholas Otamendi to play alongside each other. So what will he do defensively?
I think what he'll have to do, I think he'll have to look to Stones and say, he gave me a performance last time at Anfield when it was a 0-0. It was an awful game, if we remember. This is not going to be like that. It just can't be. We can't have 2 of them. But Stones was outstanding in the game that he played that time. I thought he would kick on. He hasn't. He's went back the way. But it's time that he stood up to this. It's time that John Stones became the player that the talent has. But he's never became that strong enough personality. They need leaders, and they lack them at the moment. And I think he has to play. Do
you think because of the defensive issues that Pep will concentrate on being actually more offensive in this game than he might have been? You know, their strength is going forward, isn't it?
I wonder if he's maybe thinking about tweaking his formation. He's done it very, very little over his time with Manchester City. But he has went to a 3 at the back in the past. I just wonder where, and people might say, well, that's manning up with the front 3 of Liverpool. Yeah, but have you got a couple of protectors in front? Because Fernandinho can get exposed with his lack of pace. Obviously, you know, he's got suspension troubles. So you're trying to fit in, where does this back 5 work? We know Kyle Walker can play centre-back because he played there for England. And, of course, he's got brilliant pace. So he could man up against Sadio Mane. So there's lots of choices for him in terms of that. I've just got a feeling that Pep will go with a back 3, fitting into a back 5 when they don't have the ball, but obviously very forward thinking. And he'll want to block the 2 full-backs of Liverpool. I think he'll want to meet them high up. That's where I think that Pep Guardiola might go something different this weekend.
Okay. Any concern for Liverpool that they weren't at their best, as you said, against Villa, nor against Genk in midweek? Is that a concern?
It's still a little concern, but I think when you get to Anfield, and the atmosphere will be absolutely outstanding, and they'll be driving them forward. But it needs good leadership from the back, from Van Dijk. The 2 full-backs will go high, but we're not talking about an average footballing team here. When De Bruyne, I know David Silva looks as if he's out. De Bruyne, Sterling, Aguero. Oh, hold on a minute, this is still very, very scary. Very scary if they get a lot of the ball, because they will get a lot of possession. So this is not a given for Liverpool because of the injury situations. I think it's going to be close. I'm expecting goals, but I do think Liverpool have enough to edge it.
OK. And let's be honest, I mean, if Liverpool go and win the Premier League, they can lose in the League Cup and lose in the Club World Championship, and nobody will give
Tom
a
wouldn't agree.
at all. Yeah, well. Let's talk about the other big game of the weekend, really, which is Leicester against Arsenal. Your old club, Unai Emery, under pressure. Could he survive a defeat at Leicester, particularly if it's a heavy defeat?
If it's a heavy defeat, I don't see the current. I don't know if I can call them the board anymore, Jeff, because it's controlled by an American who sits overseas, and he's got a kind of panel of 4 or 5 on the committee that all make different decisions. So you never get an answer. You know, Edu's walked into this situation, ex-player, and went, "What am I? Am I a scout or chief scout?" Or, I mean, they don't know what really their roles are. And because of that, the manager's been isolated, because I don't know if he controlled the transfers in the summer. It doesn't look like that to me, because he openly admitted to me a year ago, and he said the same this week, we are poor defensively, and that's what he said to me 12, 15 months ago. I have to make it better. Well, he hasn't made it better. That's why he's under pressure. But the pressure will come from the fans. I don't think it'll come from the owners or the controllers of the club. But of course, the last thing they need is pressure to come on that board again, because once it comes onto them, then they'll be looking to unload that trouble somewhere else, and that will fall at Unai Emery's door. And the lack of quality that they have defensively, it's going to take Bellerin probably 4 or 5 games to get fit, which is too long. And Tierney needs 5 or 6 games. They two themselves can't help solve the problems that's already there.
Do you think the absence of Xhaka will mean that Emery might now become the fans' target?
I think it's starting to go that way. I mean, I don't think Arsenal get anything from Leicester. I think Leicester like to take on Arsenal because it's a similar approach, but Leicester actually knock it quicker. They knock it quicker into Vardy now, and he's improved technically. His link-up play, it's not always just about running in behind. There's a lot more options in there. They've got danger down the flanks, where Arsenal don't like to get pinned in, because they go for a long ball and they can't get people in the game, and they struggle. So I think for that reason I could see Leicester, but Leicester could easily defeat Arsenal 2 or 3-0. And if it gets to that stage and Arsenal haven't threatened anything, if they don't lay a glove on them, then this manager will come under serious scrutiny from his own supporters.
And when we talk about Leicester, you know, we're always talking about the Jamie Vardys or the Maddisons and the Harvey Barneses. But if you look at the other end of the field, Leicester have got a fellow called Kagla Soyuncu, who is the sort of defender that Arsenal would die for, isn't he?
Well, we'd take him and his younger brother, if he's got one. I mean, we would take anything at the moment. I mean, during the week, Jeff, I was like, excuse me, how did we miss out on people like Cahill? Why did we not go and get Cahill? And people say he can't run. Not in the current centre-backs, but he's a better positional centre-back. His experience, his decision-making, everything's better. We had the opportunity to go and get that tight, and we always refuse. It's always as if it's a desperation signing at the back. And we have to get beyond that. So absolutely no doubt. You're mentioning that fella at the back. But the balance, I thought they'd be vulnerable defensively, Leicester, because Brendan always goes forward and plays.
And they sold Maguire.
Sold Maguire, but they always think he's quite one-dimensional. And I kept saying, no, he's not. He plays one-dimensional because his strength is playing fast, forward-flowing football. So he doesn't need to concern himself so much about that. But believe me, he does work in it. And they've looked rock solid so far. Arsenal have a real threat. If the front three can click, if Pepe comes back in and clicks, if Ozil plays, Caberes is probably one of the guys at the moment that's frustrating me a little bit. He plays too deep. He's taking too many touches. It's not going forward quick enough, like I'm seeing from Maddison. And that's the difference, and that's why Leicester are favourites.
He won't play Ozil, will he? An away game? Never plays Ozil.
Is he?